Hello, everyone. This is Carla Cargle here with Constance Arnold, and we are the Talking Pearls. And we are excited that you are joining us again today. And we're continuing our series, How to Stop Using the B Word Broke.
Wow.
And I want you all to lean in, put on your thinking caps, open your mind, and be ready to consider and receive what we're talking about here today. I'm excited.
I am too. That's why I interrupted you. I'm excited and just grateful to be sharing this with the world. You know, the Spirit downloaded it to us and through us for all of you watching. So, Carla, let's roll.
Let's roll, everybody. Make sure your thinking cap is on. You know, what we're talking about today, it really is mind-boggling, not just for me and Constance too, because of course we discussed to a certain extent what we're going to talk about. And we were both left somewhat baffled. But when we allowed ourselves to just be still and let ourselves come to a point of oneness and allowing ourselves to be those vessels and channels for God to deposit the truth and wisdom, I just want to share with you that there is a realm that exists. A realm that exists and it is absent of the light. And that absence is a form of darkness. And what I want to talk about is that realm spends time and energy. It's not so much about people, a certain religion, a certain race, a certain class. It's really about a mindset. And within that realm, the emphasis is spending and making an effort and an intention to keep us separated from the light, keep us separated from the truth. And a part of that means that that realm has tried to convince us that wealth is only for some people and not for all. Equality is only for some people and not for all. And justice is only for some people and not for all. But we are here today to let you know that that is a lie. And we are wanting to share with you and help you to open your minds to understand that wealth, equality, and justice are our God-given birthrights. And that realm that exists in the absence of light, which is darkness, its intent is to truly convince us of that not being our truth. It doesn't want us to have our birthright of wealth, equality, and justice. So it gives us images and portrays words and has actions that continuously is put out there in the earthly realm to try to keep us separated from that truth. And you know, there's a scripture that says, nothing can separate me from the love, power, and presence of God. And so with that, it's understanding that wealth, equality, and justice, they are not opposing values. They are not separate values. It's not you can be wealthy, but if you're wealthy, you can't believe in equality and justice. You know, we've been taught, or even, let me rephrase that, it's been given the impression that wealth, and you know, this can go so many ways, and we're going to talk about most of them because it all comes back to that one truth, that these are our birthrights. But they've been presented in a way to try to convince us of otherwise. Wealth has been presented as though it's a capitalist quality. And then equality and justice have been presented as though they are socialist equalities. So there's constant conversation and constant debates on capitalism and socialism. One is better than the other. If you're this, you're that. None of them matter because ultimately all of that is the same value. It all comes from the birthright of God. So I want people to understand that wealth, equality, and justice, they are light views, they are godly values, and it is your birthright to live a life of wealth. It is your birthright to live a life of equality. It is your birthright to live a life of justice. And allow yourself to know this as your truth, and nothing, no one, no situation, no circumstance, no image, no word, no action can separate you from that fact. And what are your thoughts about that, Constance?
Well, I guess if we can stop this recording because and say bye to the art. That was so profound, Carla, and such valuable truth. And we need to hear that right now, because it is, in fact, our birthright. And with everything that's going on globally, I know there are some people who believe, that there's a lot of inequality going on, and there is, and a lot of injustice, and there is. But what you said was so powerful, that whatever you believe and whatever you know as your own truth and whatever you recognize as your divine birthright is what will manifest in your life. And you're the expert for 28 years. I don't want to give you 28 years in wealth, and working with people, really creating wealth. So you're right in that. And I want to read something, because a lot of times when people have really adopted the identity of, I can't have wealth, and we know wealth is more than money. I can't have money because I can't have abundance because, or those people are against me, or it's such inequality, Constance, and all of those things are true. But I want to talk a little bit about what Carla said and expound on that. When you know your identity, then along with that really comes the benefits of your birthright, which would be justice, equality, and wealth for all. I'm going to read this first one. It's by Viktor Frankl, and Viktor Frankl was Jewish, and he was in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II for 3 years. Now, you're talking about injustice. They took away all of the wealth there. You're talking about inequality. My goodness, I don't know what I would have thought or felt, but this is what he said. Everything can be taken away from a man, but one thing, man or woman, the last of the human freedoms, which is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose your own way. Now that's profound. He was certainly discriminated against. There was such inequality there. Imagine just being in a prison for 3 years. But he chose to believe, I know who I am, I'm holding on to my birthright, and I choose to think only freedom, abundance, success, etc. And then Nelson Mandela was in jail for 27 years. And can you imagine? But he said resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that it won't kill you. And so I wanted to share those two examples, because those two men chose to turn away from darkness. They chose to hold on to their identity and their birthright and say, wealth, justice, and equality is mine. So everybody out there all over the globe today, you can choose to begin to accept that as truth. Like Carla always talks about the financial truth. You can choose to accept that as truth, and wealth, equality, and justice will manifest in your life. That ain't nothing but the truth. That's a universal law.
And that is the bona fide truth. And, we are doing this live. And so, right now I'm having some light issues that keep going on and off. And this is nothing but the manifestation of the realms trying to show the difference between light and darkness coming in our lives. But I am not going to allow it to distract me from speaking the truth, because we know that ultimately we all are children of the light. And see, the thing is for us to understand that it's not about a specific religion. When we talk about the light and the darkness, it's not about a specific race. It's about a mindset, and allowing ourselves to recognize that there's something that exists in the earthly realm that tries to keep us separated from that. And so, as you were talking about Viktor Frankl, and he allowed his mindset, his attitude, to keep him in the presence and the oneness of God and of the light, and not allow what's going on around him in that earthly realm, in that absence of the light realm, to convince him that he was in prison, and that he had no more equality, and he had no more justice, and he had no more wealth. And so we know all that is not truth. And so the beginning of that, and the continued connection of that, is allowing our minds to stay in that oneness with that truth, and never allow ourselves to become separated from that truth in our thoughts. And then if we don't allow ourselves to become separated from that truth in our thoughts, then of course we can't become separated from that truth in the words that we speak.
That's good.
The energy and the actions and the intentions that we have. So we must allow our thoughts, our connection with God, to forever stay constant and present. And that will allow us to always be in oneness and in truth with our God-given birthright, which are equality, justice, and wealth. And it really hit me in a way that I almost ran around the house, because I thought, oh my God, this has been going on since the beginning of time, where people have made forth an effort. And I shouldn't, let me back that up and not say people, because it's really not the person themselves, it's their thoughts, it's their voices in mind that has convinced them that it is necessary to truly separate and alienate certain people because of what they look like, where they live, where they come from, where they worship, who they love, all of that. But that has nothing really to do with the actual person, the physical person. That's that realm in the mind and the spirit that we have allowed to convince us that it is true. And so since we know now, and we are those vessels, Constance, Constance, we are those vessels and that channel and that instrument for God to bring forth the truth and the liberation of how to really stop using that B word, and that's by understanding our birthright.
I love that.
So by knowing our birthright, we won't ever think that we're broke. We won't say that we're broke, and we won't act like we're broke, because we know that we are children and entities of God that are born to live a life of wealth, equality, and justice.
Oh, that's good. So since we're talking about live, I have new contacts, everybody. So that's what's going on with me. Carla's having light and darkness. So it all has to do with awakening. You know, that's so true. Mindset. Simply because there's a lot going on right now. And people have asked me, so how can I feel like there's so much injustice and so much wrong. And I'm telling people, once again, where is your attention? Is your attention, because whatever has your attention rules and reign in your life. Whatever you give attention to, you invite it in. But if you would begin to put your attention and your mindset on, like Carla said, the birthright of who you are, what belongs to you, what is your true identity. Take your attention away from all of the outside circumstances that are going on and put your attention on who you are. And a mindset will begin to develop. We know that all manifestations come from your thinking, like Carla said, and your mindset or your paradigms. And a paradigm is nothing more than your beliefs, what you've heard over and over and over again, what you've seen with images, what you've spoken out of your mouth. But obviously, Nelson Mandela and Viktor Frankl, they were so solid. They couldn't be broken because they put their attention and their mindset on who they were. And so I just want to encourage people, don't let outside darkness and other negative circumstances define you. Who are you? Stand firmly in that identity. And the whole metaphysical world says that whatever beliefs, whatever mindsets, whatever paradigms you have will manifest. So even right now, Carla, with everything that's going on globally, people might be thinking, well, Carla and Constance, all that's good, but I need some money. How can I have more abundance in my life? But we know that a consistent mindset, and like Carla said, creative thinking, innovative thinking, because if you're looking at what everybody says about you, that takes your attention away from all of the opportunities that's available. Begin to look around. Begin to think that you are a creative person. Begin to think about how innovative you can be at this time. Get in that mindset. Get in the mindset of that I am a creative, innovative creator right now. And I have the ability to create and manifest wealth. What would happen in your life if you stood in that identity, if you spoke that identity, and if you felt it? Eventually, opportunities would open up for you, and you won't have to use the B word. You'll be walking in that other B word, birthright. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Carla.
Well, you know what? That is fantastic, Constance. I mean, everything you said is on point. I mean, you know, it's just as though we have scripted this, and I can assure everyone that's listening out there, we never script anything. We just allow ourselves to just be vessels and channels and let the truth of God's word and God's promises flow to us and through us. Mm-hmm. And just as we do that for you, we encourage you to allow yourself to do that when you talk about, well, where is the money coming from? How do I get more money? Just be still and allow yourself to just come to that presence of peace and oneness, and you will know what you're supposed to do, how it's supposed to come, and all of that will come together because we all have gifts. We all have abilities and talents and skills and a process in life that will enable us to tap into and open up that faucet, that spigot of abundance. We said that abundance word.
Yeah.
Abundance that is already present, but you must know that it's there and allow it to operate and flow freely in your life. And that includes abundance of money, abundance in creative thinking, abundance in kindness and love and understanding, an abundance of equality and justice. All of that works together. These are just not principles and points that we are discussing just in happenstance. These really have flowed together to create a true manifestation and a liberation so that you truly can and will live that life of wealth and abundance by understanding that your birthright is to live that way. So as Constance says, you operate in that creative thinking. You allow yourself to understand and know who you are. Allow yourself to operate in that speaking, that affirmations. All of that comes together. And right now, it probably sounds like it's how do I do it, because it sounds like so many steps, but it's really just settling into a mental, emotional, and a spiritual presence and lifestyle, really, that all that meets and melts together. And it's a constant presence that's operating in your life.
Well, that's powerful, Carla. And, so some practical ways that people can begin to tap into that birthright, that abundance, that prosperity mindset. Look around you now. There are all kind of opportunities. So when you live in the light, you can begin to see and awaken to, I can take a a mastermind class on creating a business. I can go to the SBA, for my international listeners, Small Business Administration, and learn how to start a business. I can connect with people online in the area of creating wealth, or more abundant relationships. So when you realize who you are, when you wake up to your birthright and you begin to look around, because you're no longer engaging with the false identity, you're no longer engaging with the problem, but you open up your mindset, your thinking, because at this very moment, there are unlimited possibilities and probabilities waiting for you, but you have to wake up. Mother Teresa, they came to her and they said, Mother Teresa, do you want to join us with the war on poverty? And she said, no. And why did she said, come back to me when you want to talk more about wealth. Now that's Mother Teresa.
That's Mother Teresa.
She understood the principle that when you are engaging with the problem, it doesn't mean that you're not really taking a look at what's happening. But when you are engaging with the problem, what's inequality, look what's happening to me, Constance and Carla, then you get more of that. But when you begin to engage, take a look at, saturate it, immerse yourself in, this is my divine birthright. This is who I am. Nothing can shake you, baby. And, I'm a woman that had to work through that. I was told you can't do this and you can't do that. But I had to change my mindset. And when you are solid in that, like Carla said, you're solid in your birthright, wow, you can be, do, and have anything. That ain't nothing but the truth.
And that's the sure enough truth.
Yeah. And Carla, this is powerful. This is powerful. So anybody who's listening, you don't have to be a victim. You were created to be a powerful creator, a powerful manifester. But you're going to have to make a decision. What are you looking at? What images are you allowed to flow through your mind? Where is your attention, your words, etc.? You have to take a look at that. And when there is a deep knowing on the inside of you, this is my birthright. I can have wealth. I can create wealth. I'm sure out of all of your 28 years, Carla, you have worked with people who probably initially didn't believe that they could create wealth, but they got that solid identity. So everybody should really be doing what Carla was going to do, run around her house, because this is the truth that'll set you free.
Absolutely. And I'd like to just kind of, I don't know if we're ending, but I would like to at least interject this right now, is that right now in the United States of America, mm-hmm. we are witnessing a true rising. I'll call it a rising. And I think it's in that rising is really the rising of that realm of, that is the absence of the light, and that realm of the light. And the light is really growing because it's understanding its true power, its true authority. And but what the darkness does, it tries to really control things and convince people that it is really where the power lies. And so we cannot allow ourselves to be drawn into believing the darkness and playing the game of life as and with the rules of darkness. So we must stand and affirm and know that we are of the light and allow ourselves to be the ones that set the rules, direct how things will take place, design and control the narrative. And by doing that, ultimately, the light will always outshine and overcome the darkness, because darkness cannot exist where there is light. And so the more of us that stand and affirm our birthright of wealth, equality, and justice, the darkness cannot and will not, under any circumstance, regardless of some of the casualties, unfortunately, that might take place as a result of it, they won't win. So we have to allow our minds, our words, our actions to unify themselves so that we all can stand affirmed and allow our arms to link and make sure that the darkness cannot and will not penetrate, so that we are the ones that will reign, as we have been given that right to reign, because we are birthrights. We have the birthright to the throne, and that's where we are residing. Wealth, equality, and justice for all, and that is how we stop using the B word broke, by understanding our true birthright, and broke won't be anywhere in our being.
Profoundly stated. Very powerful. Well, everybody, we have a series of videos that you can watch, and I'm going to really suggest that you go back and you listen to it again and again. Ask the Spirit to download the truth for you. We are the Talking Pearls. So people have been asking me, why do we call ourselves the Talking Pearls, Carla? And
well, I'll let you spill the beans on that.
Well, we're both in the same sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and Pearls is just a signature of that sorority. And Carla was a guest on my show, and I just knew by the Spirit that we would connect. As a matter of fact, I prophesied. I didn't know I was doing. I thought I was just talking, and I said, hey, Carla and Constance, that sounds like something we should take on the road. And here we are now, just sharing with you wisdom. I'm going to say saved wisdom and truth. And so you can visit us on thetalkingpearls.com and check out our previous videos, saturate and immerse yourself in them, because the truth truly will set you free. Tell your friends and your family about this video and share it. So, Carla, it's been a pleasure, and
as always,
Faith, we just believe that everyone hearing this, that they will be transformed from the inside out.
Give me a high five virtually.
All right, everybody, enjoy your day.